Mary had a little lamb.
From the classiest radio station on the air, this is...
Welcome to the Black Rabbit's Curse, where every shadow hides a sinister verse. Hear the airs thick with tales of terror, and tales of terror twist in your head into the dark unknown, where fear takes root and chills the bone. Beware, dear traveler, for once you're here, the curse may linger year after year. Happy Black History Month. The 7th floor doesn't exist. A Black Rabbit's Curse original horror story inspired by Alexander Miles, the inventor of the automatic elevator doors. The building wasn't supposed to be open after 9 p.m. The doors locked automatically. The lights shut off floor by floor. And most of the tenants in the old Winthrop Building treated sunset like a warning. But Carly wasn't most tenants. She was a 28-year-old janitor who took pride in being the last one out. The quiet didn't scare her. The echoing halls didn't bother her. And the old elevator, the one with the polished brass frame and button panel older than the entire city, never creeped her out until the night it opened by itself. No ding, no button pressed, no footsteps approaching, just a soft click, a breath of cold air, and the doors sliding open to reveal a completely empty car. At least she thought it was empty. From the inside, something exhaled. Not a draft, a breath. Like something or someone had been holding it in for a long time. The hairs on her arm rose instantly. Hello? She called out. Her voice didn't echo. Instead, something inside the elevator whispered, "Come up." Carly stepped closer and noticed a button panel. Every floor from 1 through 12 was there except one, floor 7. Instead, a metal plate was bolted over, old and rusted, engraved with a warning. Sealed. Do not open. Pre-order of A. Miles, 1887. She didn't think much of it. Historical buildings always had weird plaques. Old owners, old patents, old repairs. But as she turned away, the elevator door fell to close. It stayed open, waiting, breathing. And then the overhead lights flickered once, twice, and the seventh button behind the metal plate lit up from underneath the steel. There shouldn't have been any power behind it. Carly froze. The whisper came again, low, steady, and patient. She stepped inside. The doors closed on their own. She didn't touch anything, didn't even breathe, yet the elevator began to rise. Smooth at first, then shaky, then violently stuttering, like something was pushing against the car from the outside. When the doors briefly flickered, reflective, Carly caught sight of someone behind her. A tall man, old-fashioned suit, ash gray skin, sunken eyes, and around his neck, a twisted loop of rope, frayed, burned at the edges. Carly spun around. No one was there, but the reflective still showed him standing right behind her, staring over her shoulder at the button panel. His finger was pressing the metal plate over 7 from the inside of the reflection, pressing it so hard that the plate bent outward. In her world, the elevator jolted and the lights snapped off. When they snapped back on, the reflective door was no longer showed her body, only his. The elevator let out a long, strained ding. As the doors slid open, it opened into darkness. Not an unfinished floor, not a storage area, nothing architectural, just an empty, black hallway with walls that seemed made of breathing concrete. Every few seconds, the walls expanded and contracted like lungs. Carly backed up instantly. This wasn't a floor. This wasn't even space. This was a wrong place. The voice whispered again, but this time from behind her.
Don't look away from it.
She turned to see the man from the reflection, now inside the elevator with her, but only in the reflection, not in reality. The real car was empty. No reflective car was full. Standing behind the man were dozens of others. Men, women, children, some buried, some twisted, some missing pieces, all staring at her, waiting. Who are you? Carly gasped. all their mouths moved in perfect unison. We're the ones the doors didn't save. The man stepped forward in the reflection. Alexander Miles tried to save us. In the reflection, Carly saw a brief vision, a dimly lit 1880s elevator shaft, manual doors left open, people slipping, falling, bodies hitting the bottom, and one man, Miles, screaming at the building's owners to adapt safer door mechanisms. But they didn't listen, so he installed the system himself. A system that closed every door automatically. But floor 7? Floor 7 was always cursed. Someone had died there before the building was finished. A construction worker who fell into the shaft while the floor was still being built, except he didn't fall. He was pulled, dragged into the dark by something no one saw, something the workers refused to name. Miles tried to seal it permanently, but the dead don't stay where they're put, and the doors can only hold for so long. Carly stumbled back as the real elevator doors began closing on their own, but the reflection showed the opposite. The doors were opening wider. The people inside the reflection, the ones who had died in a faulty shaft, failed floor closings, broken, were all reaching out towards her. In unison, they whispered, "Choose." Carly panicked. Choose what? The man with the rope around his neck leaned forward. "Stay with us, or take our place." The elevators started dropping fast. Too fast. The building roared as floors blurred past like shrieks of color. Carly screamed and braced for impact, but the elevator didn't crash. It jolted to a stop. Floor 7. Again. This time, the hallway wasn't dark. It was lit, bright, clean, impossible. Workers from 1880s uniform bustled past her. Someone was shouting, "Seal that door! The girl's in here!" Carly panicked. "Where am I?" An older man approached her. She recognized him instantly from the portrait she had seen in the building lobby. Alexander Miles. "You were never supposed to enter that elevator," he said gently. "Not tonight. Not on that cycle." What cycle?" Carly cried. Beside every building with my doors, every single one has one night where they fell because something behind them wants out. He pointed behind her. Carly turned and froze. She saw herself, not her real self, inside the elevated car, screaming, slamming her hands against the doors, but it wasn't moving. It was sinking. Not the elevator. Her. Her reflection self was being pulled downward into the floor like the building was swallowing her. Carly looked down and realized the feet she was standing on weren't hers. The shoes were wrong. The clothes were wrong. Even her hands were wrong. Alexander Miles looked at her with sad eyes. They chose you. What does that mean? She whispered. Miles stepped back. The hallway began dissolving. The lights dimmed. The workers vanished. The halls inhaled. The building whispered.
Replaced.
Carly screamed as she was yanked backwards, and the world snapped. The next morning, building security reviewed the cameras. Carly never left the building, but someone did. Someone wearing her uniform, carrying her bag, walking with her exact stride. Only every few steps, her shadow lagged a second behind. And once she passed the security desk, her reflection in the glass showed a tall man behind her, rope burned around his neck, smiling. The footage ended with Carly in what wore her face, stepping into the elevator. The doors closed. The elevator button lit up. 7. The floor that still doesn't exist. Sit here, heart still racing, eyes wide open. Remember, the terror doesn't end when the video does. You may try to forget, but the shadows have a way of following. The whispers grow louder each night, don't they? So go ahead, close your eyes, if you dare. But know this, you're not alone. Not anymore. But the Black Rabbit's curse has seen you, and it's waiting. So what happens when the lights go out? If you want to find out, make sure you come back. But next time, will you be ready? Sleep well. Or don't.